What is going on, everybody? It is Craig, and I am here at the beginning of what I hope is going to be a fun series, even though I'm sure there'll be only about 50 that check in on it. It's cool. I decided every year I watch at least 100 horror movies, and then I do a thing at the end of the year. This year I'm going to try, why not do a short review for each of these horror movies? Well, my version of a short review anyway. So, number one of the year, and my first movie from 2024 is Night Swim. And when I tell you to go see this movie, I'll be lying to you. In all seriousness, let me break it down a little bit for you. I will avoid any major spoilery things, although I might mention some nuances. So if you don't want anything at all spoiled, then I'll see you again later on. But I won't spoil any big things. And if I was going to, I would give a warning, and then you could log off. So, the movie atmosphere wasn't bad. I'll give it that, at least for the most part. It was looking like it was a slow burn at first, which I'm all about slow burns. I'm fine with that. However, this premise of a haunted pool, and that's essentially what it was. It's a haunted pool, but it's really not the pool, it's the water. The water gives you, but it takes something from you. And also, it was a little racist, this movie. I'll tell you what I mean by that, about that later. But my issue with the haunted pool premise is individually, or you had multiple members of the family have a horrible experience by the pool, and then they're not communicating it. It's like, and then not only after that, but after all three of them had a horrible experience, guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna have a pool party. Bring everyone over, yay! And in that pool party, a fourth member had a horrible experience. But that said, I don't know. I want to say it had potential, but it's like it's very Amityville horror-esque elements to it, especially I can't help but think of the Ryan Reynolds remake for some nuances of it. But it's one of those things, I was so checked out watching parts of this movie that random things I just chuckled at. The one woman uses the line, essentially, I didn't tell you about all the awful things that happen in your property because I did not want to poo in your pudding. Yeah, I'm the real estate agent. I know about these deaths, things that happen, bad things that happen, but I didn't want to tell you about it because they're pooing your pudding. Pretty sure it's illegal, but that's okay. As is pooing in one's pudding is illegal, but so is not divulging stuff that happened, and that's not really a spoiler because that death you see on camera within the first couple minutes of the movie. So there's that. There was also another random scene where they had the barbecue, and some woman bought a watermelon, and they're like, "Oh, you didn't have to do that." I'm like, listen, you're invited to a big barbecue pool party, and you only bring a watermelon, that better be hollowed out and filled with tequila. But anyway, that real small thing. But again, that's where my mind was going. I normally don't have movie ADHD, but I do when I'm watching it, just really? Is this what we're doing here? Just random things that didn't make sense. The one girl's boyfriend was Christian, so him kissing her was an even bigger deal. What? Just things like that. Well, him hitting on her by asking the wingspan. Little nuances that if it's a good movie, you don't pay attention to. If it's a movie that's a little lackluster, I'm not going to say it's bad. I mean, you watch it. I don't regret watching it. I regret paying to see it, I suppose. But, if I watch it on TV, I'm like, okay, in and out, not going to see it again. Here's where I got racist. Because it turns out, and this is a mild spoiler, so if you don't want mild spoilers, you can go. I understand. But it turns out that it's almost like the movie Dark Harvest. Right? If you just saw that one, or The Lottery, or any of those movies, if someone dies, you get rewarded with good stuff. And they had an Asian woman who sacrificed her daughter for the son, and that's very much, that's the kind of a trope that existed, might still exist. And so I thought the casting should have been redesigned in that, maybe in that one case, for that to be the thing they focused on. Oh no, it's okay, the son made out so good, I'm happy. Forget the daughter who died a horrific death, although you don't really see it because it's PG-13. And my thing I will point out, when the thing, the spirit, whatever, takes a hold of somebody, it pretty much robs Supernatural. So if you ever seen one of the ghosts, the black dust demon, go into somebody, very similar to what you see in this thing. I'm not ranting or raving because there's really nothing in this movie that like really aggravated me. Like, oh, how dare they do that? Other than challenge our perception of normalcy. Like, you would think one person has a bad experience, they hear a voice. Another person has a bad experience, another person sees some. Eventually, they're going to communicate with each other and be like, "Hey, maybe we shouldn't use the pool." Like, but that said, like I said, I want to rant. I want to go nuts. It almost is like it's too dull to rant about. How about that? Like, that's one of those quotes that you would say. I mean, the actors were fine. I thought Wyatt Russell, who played the father, he did a good job as like a former baseball player who has MS and now he can't play anymore. Like, that was fine. Nothing wrong with that. The other characters, like him, I think I know from somewhere. I think I've seen somewhere. I know the wife. I think she was in Better Call Saul. I don't know any of the other people involved in the movie, other than the real estate woman. I know I've seen her before. So you had a fresh cast, and their acting was fine. So this is not a knock on them. It's not even necessarily a knock on Bryce McGuire, the director. It's just, like I almost wish it pissed me off so I can make this a lot more exciting for you. And, because if you've known some of my videos, I've gone on rants. What did I rant? Oh, Jeepers Creepers. Oh, that was horrible. The remake. But anyway, I'm sure some of that will come in this series. So anyway, I will give a rating though. Normally I don't divulge my ratings. I just do my top 10 lists. I will give this out of 10. And a little bit about me. When I rate a movie, I don't just rate it as a movie. I still take everything in consideration. Was it a bigger budget? Yeah, it was a little bit of a bigger budget. Was it a bigger studio? Yeah, it was a little bit of a bigger studio. So the goal should be set higher. If this was a low budget flick, I wouldn't have necessarily liked it more, but I would have rated it a little bit better than I'm about to rate this. I will give my first movie of 2024. I will give it a 4 out of 10. And I mean, right now it's my favorite movie I saw. Right, that's something. But I'm pretty sure after I see 11 more movies, or 10 more movies this year, it'll probably be off my top 10 list. But I do love the fact that they're putting these out. But this is the type of... Oh, the CGI, by the way, was horrific. That I will rant about. The things when they show them in the water, like that was just bad. And I'm pretty... Yeah, it had to be... CGI was abysmal. And the stuff they did, they could have created a costume suit of this thing. Because he didn't really have a huge role. Like, it was more of the stuff you didn't see. But anyway, 4 out of 10. Give me feedback on here. Let me know of anything you might want me to watch. Especially new releases. If you throw something out there that I've already seen, maybe in the comments I'll just give you my take on it. But if you mention something I haven't seen, I'm definitely happy to check it out. I know there was an 80s slash I haven't heard of that I somehow missed that I do have queued up to watch next. So maybe that review will be out sometime soon too. I promise you these reviews are going to be meant to be a little bit shorter. My goal when I've done these in the past is 5 to 6 minutes. This is a little bit longer because I'm setting up the premise. But hopefully we'll get to 100 of these bad boys. You watch them, I'll keep putting them out. And till next time, have a good one, everybody. Peace.